Welcome back to the Sidetrack'd podcast.
Oh my god. What are you talking about? We're really about to do this all over again.
Welcome back to Sidetrack'd. I'm your host, Mary Jo, Jessica. We're trying out a little new setup today. Hopefully the mic cooperates, because I don't want to sit here and talk for 30 minutes just to find out that the microphone was not cooperating. That actually would be so painful. In fact, let me check that, because I'm so terrified that this is gonna fuck up. But we got new mics in the studio. Trying to steer away from this one for right now, but I could have shot it with that one. It's just I wanted to make sure that these mics were working, because I have a few episodes coming up where I want to make sure everything's working perfectly, and I just don't like having guests in the studio when I'm trying to figure shit out, like technically wise, because it makes me look like a dumbass. Like, I already don't know what I'm doing technically. Why do I feel like I'm so far away from the camera right now? Like, I feel like usually I'm not this far back. Did the table move? Something's off about the studio. Like, I feel so far away. Maybe it's like, I never wear my glasses though. I don't know why the room looks bigger and farther away. I don't know what that is. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Right? So today, before we get into our big topic, I just want to talk just all over the place about TikTok, because I think currently, as I'm filming this, not when it's up, I think by the time this video is up, the bill will already have passed Congress or maybe the Senate. I'm not really sure where it is right now. But basically, they're trying to ban TikTok. And yes, they've done this a million times. And yes, every single time it's very dramatic and it's very played up or whatever. I think they've done it 4 or 5 times now. Tried to ban TikTok. And every single time, no one believes them. Everybody thinks they're bluffing. No one really does anything. And then TikTok shuts down unrelated to the ban, you know? TikTok will the servers will go down and everyone will be all like, oh my god, they actually did it, and then it'll be back up in an hour. And it happens every single time, and it's hilarious every single time, but I think this time it might actually happen. I don't know why. Maybe it's just something in the air. I think it might actually happen. And disregarding the very surface level, oh my god, I use TikTok every day, type of arguments for this, why mostly pisses me off that they're doing this and that they're going so hard to, and the thing is too, why I'm angry is that it's a unanimous vote. That's why I think it's actually going to happen, because everybody in Congress, the Senate, the president, have said that they are willing to ban TikTok, and they are. That's why it's going so fast. That's why this bill is being passed so quickly, is because everyone is on board with it. Every single politician is on board with them banning TikTok. Now, this wouldn't upset me so much if there wasn't so many bipartisan issues in this country that ultimately benefit the members of this country, which I genuinely cannot see a benefit for banning TikTok, because regardless of whether you want to view it as this little silly little kids app, a lot of people get their income from TikTok. A lot of people promote their businesses, their small businesses on TikTok. TikTok has actually been very useful in everything going on in Palestine and Gaza right now, getting information out, regardless of whether they're suppressing certain content. You're still getting more content than you would have gotten off Instagram, off Facebook, off literally any form of mass media right now, because they're all suppressing it. But TikTok, you still get your news. And it may not be completely accurate, but it's actually a very good source. I mean, to get basic level information. It is actually a very good source to get started on this information. I'm not saying that you should be quoting TikToks by any means, but, it does its job. And it unifies people. I'm not going to sit here and say that there are no benefits to TikTok, but it's so aggravating, because this is the one issue that every single politician is all we're all in this together. But when it comes to, and if you want to say this about protecting Americans, protecting children, y'all sit up there and continue to not pass bills and laws against, to protect children in schools. You know what I'm saying? Y'all will stand on this issue of, TikTok getting banned, and we should stand together and ban TikTok. But kids are dying in schools. There was a school shooting literally yesterday that got no major coverage in the news. It actually was a blimp in the news. No one talks about it. There were kids waiting at a bus stop, and I guess people came up, just sprayed the entire line of kids with bullets. None of them died, thankfully. One of them was critically injured. All of them went to the hospital. And the rest of their classmates who were not waiting at that bus stop to get to school that morning just had a snow day, per se, and they just did class online. Imagine that. Your school has a shooting in the morning and you're doing class virtually for the rest of the day. Like, that is insane to me, that is not an issue, or that, like, most of these issues, I mean, there are people dying not only in America but across the world, and America has the power, because we are the power in the world, to make these problems go away. And right now they're very much focused on TikTok. Like, China's getting all of our information. It's all like, nigga, who fucking cares? Literally, who fucking cares? Because you do the same shit in America. You're just mad because, like, China has our information or some shit. Like, I could care less if they have my information. Truth be told. Like, truth be told. Like, I genuinely don't give a shit. Like, my problem isn't, like, the whole banning of TikTok, although that's gonna suck. I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, you know what? Like, although I'm thankful for the amount of followers that I have, and, like, it's not a lot, I was like, you know, I can live without it. But then on, like, under that, I was all like, wait, I'm gonna lose all my TikToks. Like, regardless of how many TikToks I post to, like, blow up or whatever, a lot of my TikToks I just rewatch because I am my own biggest fan. And they'll no longer be on my phone. Like, I don't have enough space on my phone to keep all my TikToks. That's why they're on TikTok, because I don't have enough space in my drafts, and my phone's always all like, you don't have enough space, delete some of your drafts. Like, that is why you see me post so much on TikTok, because I don't have enough space in my drafts. Like, I have to post the shit that I make. And now I'm gonna lose all that just because y'all want to ban TikTok? Like, you're ridiculous. No, but it's really aggravating watching them take such a strong stance on this issue for seemingly no reason, but not take stronger stances on issues that actually impact them in their lives. Like, I know y'all have children and grandchildren in schools right now, and they are not safe. Like, it's sad, it's upsetting that this is the hill that you're trying to die on. Yeah. But, to the main topic of why I started this, I just wanted to hit that because we are going to be talking about TikTok today. Shocker. Because there's been a lot of discourse going on it. But I just wanted to hit that first because it was really getting underneath my skin that a lot of people, like, don't care necessarily. One, politicians are all, like, banding together on this one issue, but a lot of people don't care about the issue because it's just TikTok. It's just a kid's app. But that is really just, like, dumbing down the impact that it's had on society. Yes, there have been bad impacts, but there's bad impacts of all social media, and y'all don't go as hard on Instagram and Facebook as you do on TikTok. I mean, let's talk about Kick or, like, back in the day Snapchat. Like, y'all were not going hard for these apps the same way you're going hard for TikTok, and I genuinely believe it's because it's unified more people than it's divided them, but we're not going to talk about that right now. But I'm going to be talking about TikTok today because there have been a lot of different conversations on TikTok, and it's probably just my For You page. Actually, it's definitely not just my For You page. It's getting out of hand, and I'm kind of sick of it. But there's been, I think, like, a total of 4 separate conversations that I want to talk about today on this episode, all having to do with black people and, like, black image and all that shit. I don't know. And it's all, like, I know I just said TikTok is a unifying force, but for some reason everybody's fighting. The girls are fighting for real. And it's like Black History Month ended and y'all said, I no longer love black people. And it's like, the fuck? Why are we doing this? So the first topic I want to talk about, actually the newest topic that has been coming across my feed right now, the discourse about, it's a trend, and basically in the trend, first picture has a caption and it goes, things I'm scared to admit as a black person. And at first it was just funny things like, I don't like collard greens, or like, I don't know, I can't remember the other ones, or I don't like chitlins. Like, it was just like things that black people are afraid to admit, but, like, are seemingly harmless. And then it got to the point where the trend turned from I don't like rice and beans to I don't like ghetto people. Now, there's been a lot of discourse about this. People saying that it's completely valid to be scared of ghetto people. People saying that if you don't like ghetto people, you're whitewashed. I'm gonna put my stance on this. My problem with that phrase is that you use it in a trend of things that you're scared to admit as a black person, that you're afraid of ghetto people. Now, in my opinion, I don't have a connotation that ghetto means black, but using it in that context, you're meaning that ghetto people as black, even though there are people who are ghetto who are not black. Like, I just think it's a weird thing to say in general. Am I saying that you're not valid for being afraid of, like, hood culture, which is what people have been turning it to on the other side, where they're all like, oh, it's completely valid to be afraid of hood culture, and it's all like, that's not what they said, though. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm so sick of that conversation where it's all like, oh, words are just words or whatever, because like people will like get like all up in a tizzy when you get mad over verbiage. Because if you wanted to say that you're scared of hood culture, that'd be completely valid. That you'd be valid in that response. Saying ghetto has a certain connotation that is not the same as just saying that you're scared of hood culture, right? And, like, I hate when people are all like, oh, they're just words, like, you're just reading too much into it. But when I call your mama a bitch, you're going to start crying, aren't you? You're going to say that I'm being mean. But it's just words. Why are you upset? It's just words. Like, shut up. You know what words means. Or else there wouldn't be bad words and good words. There wouldn't be swears, and there wouldn't be just regular words that you use in your everyday vernacular. So don't fucking come at me saying some shit like, oh, but that's just, like, they meant this. Then say it. Y'all need to stop coming on, like, publicly and saying shit that you don't mean with your full chest. If you mean something else, say that. Like, and if it's too many words, maybe you shouldn't be saying it. Maybe it's not something that we need to hear. Okay? But I think it's just another way to divide the black community. And right after Black History Month, I mean, I'm just saying, guys, y'all did not waste any time to start dogging on black people. Like, it's actually insane and so infuriating. 'Cause, like, it was supposed to be a fun little trend, and y'all turned it into something disgusting, and now there's this big discourse on, like, what is ghetto, who can be ghetto, and it's all, like... And I understand being afraid of certain, like, hood cultures, but it's all, like, this is why racism towards the black community specifically, but, like, I feel like when you're tackling racism in general, you have to tackle racism towards the black community, because that's where it stems from, specifically within the context of America. But I think that we are never going to see change, specifically in my lifetime. We were talking about this in one of my classes, and someone had said that, and I thought that was so sad to think about, that we're not going to see racism end within our lifetime. But, like, looking at this trend, I was like, nah, we definitely aren't, because we don't even have solidarity within the black community. How can we expect anyone to treat us any differently? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really... And I'm not saying that you have to be all like, oh, I love ghetto black people every single day, but what does it serve you to have that conversation in a public forum? You know what I'm saying? Like, there are certain topics that I definitely want to talk about on here, but I know that it's not necessarily, like, I don't know, not a safe space necessarily, but I know that this isn't just going to my friends and family. Like, that's the problem with, like, I think a lot of podcasters, but, like, and why a lot of people hate podcasters is because they say things that really should be kept to themselves, or be said in, like, a porch setting, if you will. 'Cause, like, there's no reason to have that public discourse on an app where it's not just black people. Like, you're not just talking to black people when you make those, like, blatant racist statements. Whether you think it's racist or not, it is, babes. I'm telling you, that statement is racist in and of itself. Saying that as a black person, I'm afraid to admit that I'm scared of ghetto people is a racist statement, and I will not argue with that. Argue with your mother. But I think it's weird to have that conversation knowing damn well that you're not only going to reach black people, but you're going to reach every single other race too, and invite them in on the conversation because you made the post public. I think it's very icky of you to do that, regardless of whether it's a truth that you hold or not. It's not for everyone to see, and it's not, like, it's just disgusting to me, like, to be shitting on black people as if you and the thing is too, you wouldn't be scared of ghetto, like, white people, or ghetto, like, Asian people, or whatever may have you. You're only scared of ghetto black people. That is my problem with that statement too. Like, if you're gonna say you're afraid of ghetto people, all bitches can be ghetto. You're only scared of the black ones, though. So that's just, anyways. Moving on from that topic. The next topic that we got going on here is, wow, we are cruising through this episode. 15 minutes in. Is that true? Damn. Okay, 15 minutes in, and we're already done with our first topic. Wow, Mary Jo, you are killing it. No, the next thing I want to talk about is, I guess let's talk about Jordan the Vegas. I've been following her for a while now. I think I've been following her since the beginning of TikTok, really, or at least I've been watching her shit, and then I finally followed her like maybe like 2 years ago. 'Cause like I feel like when I follow someone who I like seeing on my For You page, their videos disappear from my For You page, and then I never see them unless I go into my following page. And I'm almost never on my following page just for like reasons of like I like scrolling through and seeing new content versus seeing like, I don't know. I like their content, but I like seeing something that's like curated to me, you know, if that makes sense. I don't get the people who follow 10,000 people and yeah, how do you follow 10,000 people on TikTok? Tell me right now, cuz it's actually insane. I'm pretty sure that's the max you can follow on TikTok because I've only ever seen someone follow 10,000. That's the most I've ever seen. But why do you follow 10,000 people on TikTok? I understand supporting creators and whatnot, but at a certain point, 10,000 people is a lot. I know you don't know 10,000 bitches, so those all have to be like other accounts or whatever. But it's like, do you even go on your For You page, or are you only on your following page? Like, I don't understand. Like, why do you follow 10,000 people? At most that I ever want to follow on any social media platform is like probably like 500, just because, and not in an elitist way. It's like for like TikTok, Instagram, whatever. It's like at a certain point, it's all like, one, I don't personally know 500 people, or I'm not personally besties with 500 people. Like, I'm never going to be friends with 500 people. That's just never going to happen. Like, friends, like active friends, no. And then for the people who are famous, who I follow because I enjoy watching their content or I enjoy pursuing their lifestyle or whatever, it's like, genuinely, it gets washed out when you follow too many people. Like, if you're following like 500 people, you're not going to see everybody's post every single day, and you're going to miss out on some things. And I've seen that. I have 2 Instagram accounts for a reason, so that doesn't happen. But I still end up missing posts just because, like, you know, it's social media. How do you follow 10,000 people? That's crazy. That's insane. You're not like, actually, I can't say that you're sitting here and supporting these creators if you follow 10,000 people, because I know you're not interacting with all of their accounts. Like, one, even if social media accounts didn't wash out certain like creators when you follow that many people, you're still like, it's still just like too much to do in a day. Like, you're just not watching content from 10,000 different creators a day. I don't believe it. But for Jordan the Vegas, she's always, from what I've known of her, she's always done spicy content. She does adult content, I believe, for OnlyFans, but I may be wrong on that sentiment. But yeah, she's never hit it. In fact, like, I would say every 5 TikTok she's promoting it, like saying like, not like promoting it, but she's talking about like her day, and she's all like, oh, I did this is my spicy account. Like, she says it like a lot. She doesn't hide it by any means. But some guy came on the app, black man up in a black girl's business, again, because what's new. But he basically was saying, like, he didn't understand, like, why her boy... Like, I didn't watch the video myself because I wasn't going to give him the views. I've only seen, like, stitches of it. But basically he was saying that he didn't, like, understand why her boyfriend was tolerating of this, why he was with her. 2 things on that. Maybe even 3 things. 1... she just started dating this man, like freshly started dating this man, because we were all there when she posted him for the first time, and we were all like, girl, what are you doing? Because she's been on record saying that she doesn't like posting the men that she's with. So when she did, we were all in shock. So they have not been dating a long time. 2, he's dating her, not you. She would never touch your grimy ass. So I don't understand why you're up in their business. 3, who gives a shit? Like, if spicy content is what she wants to do, go ahead. Like, if adult content is what floats your boat, like, go ahead, do it. Like, it's, and I say this in the lens of, I personally don't like that industry as a whole. Like, as a corporation, I guess. I'm not a fan, nor am I like an advocate of like we need more spicy content or some shit like that. But I don't shame spicy content workers. I'm gonna stop saying spicy content because it's actually making me physically gag. Adult content, like, people, like, I have the utmost respect for adult content creators. I just don't like the genre as a whole, if that makes sense. Just because like it, for the reasons of it's very like misogynistic and sexist and all that shit. But regardless, I'm never going to hate on a girl who does adult content. Like, I have no reason to get that bag. I have no problem with it. Me personally, I can never do it because I'm a self-conscious little bitch. Like, that's just me. And it has nothing to do with another individual. They can do it, and I think that they do well. And if I can make money that way, I would. I genuinely would. Like, that, regardless of whether I hate the industry as a whole, it's an easy way to make money. You're profiting off the shit system. So, power to you. But I think that men are too involved in women's issues that they perpetuate themselves. Because blaming adult workers for the industry itself is crazy. It was a crazy take to be all like, oh, if you guys just stopped making adult content, then the whole genre would cease to exist, is a stupid and crazy argument to make. And you're a moron. And I have nothing else to say. All I do have to say is that what is the song? I think it's Don't Tell 'Em. No, it's not. Let me search it up because I know what song I'm talking about too. Like, I'm singing it in my head. It's all like, Shawty, I don't. It might be Don't Mind. Yeah, it's Don't Mind. If you dance on a pole, that'll make you a hoe. Shawty, I don't mind. Sorry, I gotta search this up. Don't. No, like, what am I thinking of? Hold up. I need to go into my albums because I know it's in. Yeah, it's I Don't Mind. Featuring Usher, featuring Juicy J. That song right there, one, peak feminism. If you don't remember, I'm probably going to post a clip of the lyrics that I'm talking about. But that song is peak feminism. He was all like, I don't mind if you're at the club because you're coming home to me. Like, type shit. Like, that is really what it is. Like, y'all are so like, oh, but she does spicy content. Like, she's not yours. She's not really yours. Really? Because she's coming home to him. She's coming home to him. And you're mad. Like, that song is peak feminism. Like, I Don't Mind by Usher is like, it is literally like probably top 10 favorite songs of all time. I'm not even joking. Like, I play that shit in the car, we're crashing. Like, it is genuinely, like, it is a full body experience when that song comes on because it's all like, I shawty, I don't mind if you dance on a pole, that'll make you a like, that peak feminism. That line, peak feminism. But yeah, I just want everybody to keep Jordan's name out of her. And she posted something the other day and she was all like, yeah, like, all my friends have been talking to me saying that I'm being dragged online and I just don't like consume that content, which is so valid. Like, as an influencer or a content creator, not consuming negative comments is probably the best thing you can do for your mental health, because there's going to be negative comments regardless of whether you're like the fucking like nicest person on earth. People are going to have shit to say about you. So I think that's so great of her that she's living her life. She's making her bag. And honestly, that's all I have to say about that topic. Like, I want people to stop talking about her, but honestly, it's not affecting her at all in the slightest. I want her to keep doing her. She's living her life to the fullest. She can pay for her own bills. She don't need a man. And he's clearly fine with it. He went into that relationship knowing she did spicy content. So, I mean, and even if he didn't, I mean, it's really none of his business. It's her job. If he wants her to quit said job, you better be bringing in the bills to make up for that pay. Okay. Moving on. Let's start first with the black actresses in America. I've been seeing a lot of actresses talking about like curly hair in acting. And I've noticed it too. I'm not going to say that I haven't noticed it. I mean, you rarely ever see women with my type hair or like just like any type of curls in media, just cause like that's just how American society works. I mean, if you look at Kat Burns, I believe her name is, from the Vampire Diaries, she had to keep her straight that entire time and it like ruined her hair. And she's talked about it publicly, but it's all like, it's because of the industry that like and the standard that is set in America. But I will say this. You never see girls like me in media in America, but let like British like media portray a black woman because they do it right every single time. The curls, 4C, 4A, 4B, like the 3B even. Like you get to see really black women when you watch British media. Like there are dark skinned girls, there are light skinned girls, there are brown skinned girls. Like they really do know how to portray a black woman. Like all of my favorite TV shows with good black representation are British. Like I'm so sorry. They know how to do it right. Like it is just, it's weird to see the contrast because these two forms of media are happening simultaneously, and one is saying, oh, we don't know how to work with this person's hair or this person's skin tone, and one is saying, what are you talking about? These people are all like what do you mean? Like it's so disheartening to see like models and stuff like that go into like shoots and having their makeup not match, looking disgusting, even though they're literal models. Like having their makeup ruin how they look because no one wants to take the time to learn. Yet there's definitely industries and places in the world that can do it. Y'all are just being lazy because you don't care. Realistically, they don't care about telling black stories, and they don't care about telling black stories accurately. So I mean, is it upsetting that like American media has a long way to go? Yeah, of course. And I do think that there's a lot of spaces where we're making, specifically black people are making our own seat at the table, or making our own table just in general, so that we can have better opportunities and better like places to go to be able to go on set and have 4C hair or 4B hair and not be expected to straighten their hair. But I do think that like British media is where it's at if you want any black representation that's valid and accurate. It is so good. And there's this show that's actually, I don't know if it's already out, maybe it's coming out on Tubi, called Borders, and I've seen a bunch of ads for it and I'm so hyped to start watching it. It's about these four black students who get a scholarship to this boarding school for diversity reasons. I think the school went through something, and for diversity reasons they just added four black students into it. And it just is very, like, from the clips that I've seen, it seems very funny. Like the one clip that I keep on seeing is the headmaster of the school, like he's talking to the black girl, and she says something like his like name, like she says like, I don't know, Ed or something, and he goes, call me master, and she's like, I am not calling you master. And that is just too funny to me. Like genuinely, I am so sick. But like British TV shows are where it's at. If you want representation and good representation, British TV shows are where it's at. That's what I got to say about that. But going on the topic of hair, for the last thing I want to hit on topics that I've seen discussed on TikTok is there was this one video, and I don't know if it's on here. Let me see if it's on my iPad, because if it is, I'll play it. It is not. But essentially, a girl was saying, like, posed the question to all of TikTok, and she was all like, what is the angle of wigs? And someone said, someone stitched that and said, oh, the angle is to like our natural hair, like blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And then this one girl did this whole little big rant about, no, that's not it. And it was like 5 minutes long. I think I saved it to my phone. And I'm probably going to get that right now so that I can actually hit her points, because like it infuriated me in a way that it shouldn't have, realistically. But basically her point was that like only black people police black people's hair like this, like basically turning black people on themselves, saying that it was a bad conversation to be having and that only black people care this much. Mind you, there have been multiple videos in the past few months of girls who do silk presses and like straighten their hair or chemically relax their hair, black girls, talking about, oh, natural hair warriors. And it's all like, yes, because a lot of other, like, the reason these conversations aren't happening within other races is because to to the extent that black girls are changing their hair and manipulating their hair is not to the extent that white girls will manipulate their hair. Saying that a white girl straightening her hair for like a party or something is not the same as a black girl chemically relaxing her hair. Like, it's just not. So don't try to make that argument, because that irritated me about her thing. She was all like, oh, you never see this in any other like demographic of people, and it's all like there's so many, and I've seen it personally. Maybe you're not around these people, but I've seen it personally where a girl who is naturally brunette, white girl who is naturally brunette, dyes her hair blonde and like has to keep up with JoJo Siwa. Like, let's go with JoJo Siwa. Let's go with that. So many people within her own community, white people, had said like, oh, you need to stop dyeing your hair, you need to stop putting it in a ponytail. Like, so many people were policing her hair because it's unhealthy for her to be doing that much damage to her hair. Like, to say that no other race of people police other people's hair like black people's is insane, because the difference between black people policing black girls' hair is the reason behind you doing it. If you want to say that it's easier to manage and lie to yourself, go ahead and say that. And maybe it is easier for you. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that you're lying to yourself. Maybe it is easier for you to take care of. But the amount of TikToks I see of girls going, oh my God, it's silk press season, or oh my God, my silk press reverting in the middle of the day is like the worst thing. And it's all like, that seems like a lot of work. And me personally, I've done wigs. I've done the wigs, and I'm not, that's not to say that I don't do wigs, but the reason I do wigs is not so that I can love my natural hair, or it's not because I don't love my natural hair. It actually has nothing to do with the two. It's actually because I want to have icy blue bust down for 40-inch hair, and I don't want to have to chemically do anything to my hair. I don't want to have to chemically dye my hair. I don't want to have to chemically relax my hair, because I think that's stupid. Me personally, that's just how I view it, because I can't go back on that, you know? And that's not to say that I don't do it with short hair either. Sometimes I braid down my hair and I wear a wig that's literally the equivalent of like boy band Justin Bieber type hair. I'll insert pictures. But just because I know I don't want to cut my hair and wait for it to grow back, it's literally just so I can have a different style that I can't achieve with my normal hair, because I'd have to wait. I don't want to have to wait, because with wigs, I can go from a blonde bust down 40-inch wig to a black bob in a matter of 2 days. I can't do that with my natural hair regardless, and no one can do that. It's not because I have like 4C hair or because I'm black. No one can do that with their hair. No one can go in between styles like that unless they use wigs. Like, that is personally why I use it. But trying to sit here and be all like, because like I see more people who get like relaxers and straight hair, and that's not like to say that I don't have, or I don't care if you do them. Like, you can do them yourself. Like, that's your choice. I don't have a problem with it. But I see a lot of those girls come on TikTok and be all like, make fun of girls who wear their natural hair. And the reason I think more natural people talk about it, and it's never in a place, or at least the things that I've seen, it's never in a place of hating. It's more of a place of by doing that, you're perpetuating a stereotype that our hair is hard to manage and our hair doesn't look good. You know, you're perpetuating a stereotype, and white people do it too by straightening their hair. They perpetuate, and this is not to hate on those people, because we live in a society that very much values beauty. If you are uglier, you are going to be treated less like human. Point blank period. If you are viewed as uglier in this society, you are going to be treated less like human. It happens in any way you want to look at it, whether you're black, whether you're fat, whether you, like, if you don't meet the conventional beauty standards of a skinny white girl with blonde straight hair, you are going to be looked at as less than human. The further you get away from the beauty standard, the less human you become. Okay? That is my take. So by sitting here and going through the process of like chemically straightening your hair, like getting a silk press every single week, like you know what I'm saying? You're perpetuating this stereotype or you're perpetuating this idea of beauty that isn't easily accessible to black women. You know what I'm saying? It's harder for us to attain those beauty standards than it is for a white woman, because she's already white. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is the problem. And I said I was going to bring up the video, but I really don't want to, because we're getting close to 40 minutes now. So I don't think I want to bring up her entire video. And I also don't necessarily want to give her like any hate. It's not hate to her necessarily. I think that again, it goes back to like how you word stuff on TikTok, like saying that like villainizing black women who are natural against black women who choose to straighten their hair, which I have no problem with. Like, you can straighten your hair for various amount of reasons, and if it's easier for you to take care of your hair that way, go ahead. Like, genuinely go ahead. For me, it's so much easier for me to wash my hair every week than to like go like and like style it and do like the styles that I do than to do like wigs or silk presses or anything like that. And that's personally for me, because even when I do get into those funks where like I don't want to take care of myself, like wigs are genuinely like my hell when it comes to those weeks. Like what those weeks when I don't want to leave my bed for like days at a time, my wigs come out so fucking matted and disgusting, and it takes so long to brush through because it's glued to my scalp that like it just wouldn't benefit me. Same thing with silk presses. If I got a silk press, it wouldn't last long. It'd be a waste of my money and a waste of my time, versus with my natural hair, I can just go out and just like live life. And I remember seeing this TikTok from a while back where a black girl wore her natural 4C hair. It wasn't necessarily like in like a bob. It was just out. And people at her own school thought she was a crackhead because of the way her hair naturally laid. And that's why it bothers me when like this discourse comes between girls who straighten their hair and girls who don't, or girls who wear wigs and girls who don't, saying stuff like that, because it's all like this stereotype, or I keep on saying stereotype by accident, I apologize, but this image of beauty is harmful to the black community. Like, I should just be able to let the hair that grows out of my head naturally just be, without being deemed as childish or deemed as a crackhead for the hair that grows out of my head. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just every other race gets to live their life and go and wake up in the morning and leave their hair as it comes, but we have to do all these things to make it presentable or to make it like beautiful in a sense, and you don't see a problem with that. And I don't know, I do. I would really love to just wake up and leave my house without having to do anything to my hair. I understand that, you know, you have to brush your hair and all that stuff, but just to let my hair live the way it lives, like my hair defies gravity. Like, I'm so sorry that it's not down to my shoulders because it's sticking up in the air, but that's just how it grows. And I shouldn't have to change that because it you're not used to seeing that in society. Yeah, but this is not the last time we'll be talking about things that irritate me within the black community. This just happened to be a week where I was specifically being bombarded by a bunch of black people being angry at other black people, and I was getting so sick and tired of it, because it's like, it's very hard to have those conversations in spaces where you know that everyone's going to see it. And I know I'm going to post these clips for everyone to see. But the conversations are already being had, is how I'm viewing it right now. The conversations are already on TikTok. They're already being had. And you've already invited other people into the conversation. So I'm just giving my 2 cents. But, yeah, this will not be the last you'll be hearing of my gripes with the black community. But I do think that there is power in not sharing everything that you think, especially in a community that is so accustomed to being at the bottom of the totem pole, if that makes sense. Like, I think that it's so easy to scrutinize black people because it, like, so many people do it. Like, it's so easy to just sit there and pick apart every little thing a black person does because so many people do it. Like, who cares? But it's all like, if you can't rely on your own community to uplift you and to give you a little bit of grace when you make a mistake, which is also why, like, I don't want to, like, drag any of the creators that I've seen videos from by name, obviously, because, like, you do need to give a certain amount of grace to black people because we are under such immense pressure all the time to be perfect. But I don't think that negates the sense of actually knowing how much weight your words carry and how much that's going to impact the next individual. So I think that's where we're going to leave today's episode. Yeah. If you want to keep up with any updates, any clips, anything at all having to do with the podcast outside of this format right here, you can follow us on all social media, TikTok, Instagram. If TikTok isn't banned by the end of the week or by the time you watch this video, the account should still be up at Sidetrack'd Podcast. And if you want to follow me, keep up to date with things going on in my life or just funny content in general, I do post a clip or two on TikTok at maryjo.jessica. And, occasionally, if I'm feeling brave, I post on Instagram as well at maryjojessica. That has been Sidetrack'd. I will talk to you later.